as we're moving into college credit courses, you now have this option for paying for course credit. This is a new thing, and so it's something that I like to talk about at the beginning of the year. You'll find you have to make some of these decisions pretty quickly. I believe AP you have to register by October. For SLU, it's around the same time. And since I work with basically three different organizations to create this class, St. Louis University, Afton School District, and Advanced Placement, things can get a little complicated. So I like to put out a little information for parents and students. So now that you're in this AP class, what does that mean exactly? Well, for one, it means that you can take the advanced placement test at the end of the course, which would be in May. And if you do well on that, then you can get college credit for the class. I'm sorry, my dog is being very playful, as he likes to be when I record messages that are important. So apologize if you hear some squeaking. Advanced placement classes, they offer that possibility of college credit. It's all based on the test. So the whole year gets put down to usually a 3-hour test, and how well the student does on the test determines what kind of credit they're able to get. We shoot for a 3 on a 5-point scale. And depending on the school that you go to, 3 might be good enough. They might want a 4, they might want a 5. But that's all kind of stuff that you figure out through the process. Since AP Language and Composition at Afton is a co-branded course, that also means that you're able to earn college credit through 2 different courses at SLU, which you can then transfer when you attend college, or if you're at SLU, then you already have them. So AP credit versus 1818 credit. Well, at this point, you don't know probably what college you really want to go to. And so while you could go to SLU's list on their 1818 page and look at all the colleges that take the credit, chances are you don't want to make your college decision that way. You probably want to look at, what majors they offer, the type of lifestyle on campus, the location of the country, the, prestigious, air of the university, kind of all these other things to look at. You probably don't want to be shoehorned into, well, they won't take my Comp 101 credit. But a lot of schools do, and there is a list so that you kind of know as you move forward. More schools are going to take AP, but for different scores and different reasons. So let's take a school like WashU. WashU will not give you the credit, if I'm correct, unless you have a 4. So you're not getting into that Comp 101 class, and I believe even then they say something along the lines of like, well, we still expect you to take an English class, you just don't need to take Comp 101. So different schools are going to react differently to the different kinds of credit. And again, being juniors prior to selecting your schools and really applying, I would not make decisions based on who takes this credit and who doesn't. So the big benefit from SLU, and this is because of COVID and some other factors, they really kind of pushed it this year, is that if your family pays for SLU credit, then your student gets that account and they can use all of SLU's resources. So all of their library resources, all of their research resources, which is a major benefit this year. In fact, I would pay for that alone. Whatever SLU's tuition is, I think it's around $150, is worth it for that alone. Now, you have to do that twice because there are 2 different courses at SLU, 1500 and 1900. It means that you have to pay for that in the in the fall, and then in the spring. The 1500 course, the one in the fall, is a remedial class, so it's not very useful if you're if you're already taking a college class as a junior in high school, you probably don't need to worry about the remediation credit. But the 1900 one on the fall, that is the typical first class your child will have to take in college, or one of the first 5 classes they take in college, to learn how to write for a university standard. And again, that one's in the spring. So if you're choosing between, well, I don't know if I can pay for both of these, I'm only going to pay for one, then I would pick the spring. The benefit of the AP test. So the real benefit of the AP test, to me, isn't necessarily that college credit, but AP makes you look like a very attractive candidate to get into a school. So when we're talking about highly competitive scholarships or highly competitive admission, then getting a handful of 3s on AP tests and kind of saying, well, I already have a track record of being a successful college student, that's going to look very good on your proposal, okay, on your applications. And so that's another really good reason to take the AP test. Yes, having a college transcript will also look nice, but it doesn't check the same kind of boxes for admission a lot of the time. So you get a little bit of a difference there. The math is on your side. So we'll take out last year as an example, it being such a bizarre year. I don't want to look at that as a point of comparison, but I do find overwhelmingly that students who are willing to put in the extra time for AP preparation get a 3 or higher on the test. Usually, if I have about 40 students take the test, which I think we had about 38 last year, usually about 30 or so are passing. So that's a pretty high stat. But you've really got to put in that extra time. The people who don't put in the extra time don't get it. Students also have told me, like, sometimes they feel extra motivated when their family is paying for some of these things. They go a little bit farther than they thought they could or would. And so that, I think, is another kind of benefit of paying for some courses, is it allows a little different kind of motivation than honor students are used to. However, we do understand, like, the AP test can be pricey. The 1818 classes can be pricey. Typically, we offer scholarships. I understand free and reduced lunch has a whole thing with AP. And so kind of knowing that you can take advantage of these are really important. So I also understand that they can add a whole lot of stress, and that's something that we're kind of very aware of right now, is how much additional pressure can kind of be put on a kid before they just stop doing their best, right? And we don't want that. We don't want to see that happen. So for that, like, I do encourage, if you're in the position to just buy everything, make sure you have that resource. If you're really kind of in a position where you can't do that and you're picking and choosing, remember, like, you can pick the 1818 history course in the fall, and you could still get the benefit of all of those resources. So there are some different opportunities for some different people. If you end up taking the AP test, we could talk about this later, but it ends up being kind of a benefit to your final as well. So that's another thing that we kind of think about second semester. And of course, if you ever have some financial reasons why you're not doing these things, then let us know. The district does have, like I said, some scholarships, some things set aside to help with that process. Our counselors, if you want to know more about the AP programs, Miss Jane Bone is in charge of that. Miss Heather Mayfield is in charge of 1818. They're going to have information on, like, price and all of that. I'm sure they will be contacting you. Of course, you can contact me and ask me more about these 2 different programs, and I could try to explain it a little better in person, or on the not in person because it's COVID, on the phone, or video messenger or whatever we figure out. All right, so let me know if you have any questions, and I look forward to seeing your students in my virtual class.